Hi, welcome back to Auntie Tarot. This is the energy soup of the week for the week of July 26th to August 2nd. First, we'll be discussing some of the transits for the week, of which there's a lot going on right now in the world and out in the stars and in the solar system. And then we'll also be bringing in a collective card, which I describe as the energy soup. It's all the transits and energies that we're all swimming in. And then after that, we'll get into the cards and readings for the different elements. Everything will be time-stamped, so you'll be able to skip this first part if you're wanting to watch different elements for your different rising sign, sun sign, and moon, or any of the other personal planets that you may want to be curious about. So starting off, I wanted to talk about Saturn going retrograde this week. And I like to kind of look at Saturn going retrograde as being, the dad who really is concerned about you and wanting things to be, for you to learn how to do things well and right and set up good foundations for yourself. And so he can be stern. There are consequences for everything that we do. He wants you to do things right, don't cut corners. And so when he goes retrograde, I like to think of it as Dad's going away on a weekend vacation to go fishing. And so you're looking at like, oh, good, Dad's going away. The pressure's not on right now. And so it gives you a chance to relax for a little bit, of not having to push forward with him looking at you and breathing down your back. So it's a great time to go back over what are the things that I need to take care of to set up those foundations. Gives you a little time to breathe. And then when he starts going direct, which, he's going retrograde now, and that's on the 27th, on Tuesday, and then at 14 degrees Aries, and then he goes direct again, not until December 11th of this year, and then he'll be out of his shadow period on March 15th of 27. And so when he's going away, you're feeling like, oh yeah, he's on his way out. I might have a chance to relax a little bit, maybe have a little party, and not feel like I have to take care of things. I got plenty of time. And then when he goes direct in December, now he's starting to come home, and now the pressure's on a little bit. What does your room look like? Have you had a little party? What's going on? Have you done your homework? All those things. And then by the time he gets really back to where he was and back home again on March 15th, that's when if things are not done the way he wanted things to be set up, then there'll be consequences. So right now this week, it's about, when a planet goes retrograde is when they have a lot of power. So right now this week is kind of like the little discussion Dad's having with you before he leaves of, I expect the garbage to be taken out. I want that fence painted. Your room better look really good, and your grades, your homework, you better be caught up on that term paper. You better have all these things in a row by the time I get home. I'm going to go by. So right now we have a chance to look at these next months of what can we do for ourselves to set up those foundations, to act responsibly and towards ourselves and our whole situation, to really set ourselves up, because Saturn's all about consequences. If they're not done, there will be consequences that we're not going to be so happy with. On the other hand, if they are done and they're done well, the consequences is that we're going to be moving forward in a much better position for ourselves. So that's one thing I wanted to set up for. And we'll be kind of revisiting where Dad's at and when he's coming back. And how are you feeling about things in these next months to come while he's retrograde? The other thing I wanted to talk about was the full moon in Aquarius at 6 degrees this week. It is on Wednesday, on the 29th. And so this particular full moon is really magnifying a major aspect of the Barbo's basket that's been discussed for a long time, and I talked about it last week. And I'm sure if you watch a lot of readings with astrologers, you've been hearing about it. And it has a lot to do with the major energies around our collective and these opportunities that we have to really evolve as humanity. And as things, a lot of these energies have come around throughout history, having these things all at the same time in such a auspicious configuration, it allows us really to go beyond where we've gone before. And how are we going to do that in our personal lives as well as out in the collective? And so this full moon is right in line with the Jupiter-Pluto opposition of the Barbo's basket. And it really magnifies those energies while this full moon cycle is in play. It also helps set up the fact that we are going to be going into eclipse season in 2 weeks. And so it's really kind of an entry energy going into this eclipse season for a lot of change. And so we have the Sun and Jupiter conjunct in Leo, right around 4 or 5 degrees. And it really shows the expansive heart shining a spotlight on the undercurrents around independence, technology, the future, and the transformation of all of us, we the people in greater society. So on the other hand, in the opposition, we have full moon and Pluto in Aquarius reflecting back and illuminating and challenging the transformation around overinflated public egos and dysfunctional self-indulgence. So I wanted to pull one card. I always pull one card that I call the energy soup. And it's like the underlying energy under a lot of the readings that I do. And so this one card will apply to all of the elemental readings that I'm doing for whichever one you're here for. So we'll get into that, and it'll all be timestamps. So we've got the World card reversed. This is on the Gilded Tarot. Such a beautiful deck. And so to me, this is really kind of self-explanatory of saying we are really experiencing the world being turned on its head. Things feel really upside down right now. And I feel like it also being reversed is, the world is the end of the major cycle. It's the very end card of all the major arcanas in the tarot deck. And so it being reversed, I feel like the end of the cycle is here, but it's not quite completed yet. We're in that final part where things are really, really falling apart before they can start being put back together. And so I look at this as being the underlying energy for these next readings for the elements. So, okay, earth signs. We've got Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We're going to do the 3 gifts spread with the middle card represented by the Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. And this card is the gift of where we are right now with all of you earth signs. I have my Venus in Taurus, so I have a personal earth sign planet. Okay, and so for this card of where we are right now with the earth signs, we've got the 6 of Pentacles. So this is about reciprocation. Things are, you're getting paid for what you do. You're putting out to the communities or someone else of goods, services, being a good community member and doing things for others, and things coming back to you. And it's also about having enough to be able to share with other people. And so helping to give to charities, help people that are not doing as well as you are, and Yeah, that's a great positive card. 6 of Pentacles. Great place to be right now, especially if the world is on its head and going through a lot of changes. So this card is representing the energies that are coming in. Universe has always got things in the pipeline, bringing things in based on the energies that and the frequencies that we're putting out now, and how we feel about and the actions that we have done in the past. And so this is represented by the Rock and Roll Tarot by Vickie, Verlie, the Rock and Roll Prophetess. And so let's see, the gift of energies coming in. So we're going to pull this one right here. And we've got the Knight of Wands. So to me, this is about taking action and moving forward with leadership out in the world of, because it's an upright card, I feel like it's about either leadership of others or you yourself being out there in the world, charging forth and taking action on things. This is about inspiring people, of being able to inspire through having fun, helping inflate other people's courage, and really just getting things done. Not being afraid to jump in with both feet and take on the challenges. So this card in the spread is the gift of energies wanting to flow away. So these are things that are, it's a gift to another person or to others, a gift to the greater good. It can also be a gift to yourself by forgiving something that needs to be let go, without judgment, attachment, fear, anger, sadness. And so expectations. And so we're going to take this one right here. And we again have the World reversed card. So the fact that we're getting the 2 arcanas out of 4 cards and it is the same card, that is significant. So I really feel like this has to be about the earth signs being able to let go of the world the way it was and let go of the fact that things are falling apart. Earth signs are so strong. They are the hardest workers. At the same time, can also get really stuck in things have to be the way they are. It's really hard for earth signs to make some of those changes sometimes. So I think it's really important for the earth signs to be able to see the practicality of getting into that creative side and not trying to just make things go the way they have always been, of not being locked into tradition, even when tradition is it's just not it's not able to keep going forward the way it was. It's dysfunctional. A lot of the things that we've been holding are holding value in the way things have always been. So I really feel like this right here is about taking what we have right now, the relationships that are working, the things that are where value is being circulated, and find those things that it's not just about the money value. It's about holding true to our values of what holds our integrity, what in these transactions spread our true values and our core values, and being able to let go of the way things that are dysfunctional, let the world fall apart. Sometimes we need to just let that happen. that's part of one of the natural cycles. I'm a farmer and a gardener, and that's something that having lived for so many years, the seasons of, there's the springtime where you plant the seeds, they grow, they produce something, then they end their cycle, they wither, they die, and then during the wintertime, all those components from the death of that plant break down and compost, and that is the nutrients for the next thing. And now we have all the building blocks that we need to be able to do it. So this is about letting things crumble and die, and being okay with it. Just know that it's happening. It's happening. And not trying to hold on to that, because it's really hard to take action, trying to take action on trying to hold this together is not going to make it so that you can keep holding things. That flow is not going to keep going. And so letting this go helps unblock the flow so that it'll bring in this inspired leadership. And really, this is young energy. The knights are not the kings. The knights are the young people who are inspired and fearless to go out and seek their fortune. This is somebody who has the courage to leap in with both feet and not be afraid of the consequences. I'm going to do it. I feel inspired. I know this is what is right for me in the moment, and I will deal with the consequences as they go. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. We'll take what works, learn the lessons about what didn't, and keep going forward. And so I feel like it's really important to let go of this old world that's falling apart. Let it crumble. And keep that flow that you've got going, because you're doing a good job. So I would really like to pull a couple more cards that are just cards to kind of help offer some guidance to navigate all of this. And one of them is the Beast Mistress Animal Oracle cards by Vickie Verlie. And I find that the animals have a much more visceral, energetic exchange that is not all about words and thoughts and overthinking that we humans have to do. It's not based on logic. It's based on feeling. And so for you guys, for the earth signs, I've got the hawk. And so the hawk says, perched high above, you peer down on the world below. Zero in on your target, then act swiftly with a mighty force. You have the ability to soar to vast heights. So I already see the earth signs perched high above the world below. And so you guys are doing good. You're holding it down, you're holding it together. In whatever that means for you personally. Where in your world are you holding it down? Keeping your home scene together, your work scene, and if that's crumbling apart, it's about taking the pieces of that and using it as the building blocks to keep going forward. Letting this crumble. You can see it. The hawk is telling you, I can see this happening down below. And that's about having the higher perspective. And part of why I enjoy working with the tarot cards is I feel like it helps lay your cards down on the table, so to speak, and be able to look at it from a third-party perspective of what's going on with that dance on the ground. And so being the hawk means you're putting yourself and taking yourself up into that higher perspective of looking at what's going on and yourself within it without being in it and having that bigger picture vision. Zero in on your target and then act swiftly with a mighty force. To me, this is about target what's working. Find your allies where the flow is happening in the world with money, resources, time, energy, with the people and situations that reflect your true core values that you want to see go forward. And then this is acting swiftly with a force, a mighty force. That's it right there. That is the Knight of Wands. Go for it. It says you have the ability to soar to vast heights. And so I really feel like being able to have that higher perspective when you're down in the trenches doing your little thing and things are falling apart. Take a step back and look at it from that witness perspective and see, where do you want to be? You can see where you are, what's working, what isn't, and lean into what's working, let go of what isn't, and keep stepping towards it. And you'll be able to, by having that higher vision, be able to see where your next steps are taking you. And be fearless. Just do it. Just go for it. So the next card I have is, these are flowers, and I'm a farmer and a gardener, and I enjoy listening to the plants and the animals. And so this is from the flowers. We have the lilac. The future is sometimes lost in the wanderings of yesterday. Sorry, that's a little bit reflecting there. So I think that this has a lot to do with, the future is lost if we don't let go of the stuff that ain't working. We get so stuck in the way things have always been and feel like, well, it's always been that way, so it's always got to be that way. And that's just silly thinking, because how do you grow? You've got to create something out of the old to make something new. It's not about carrying the old forever. It's about using the building blocks from the old to create the new. And that's the natural cycle. I love that. And lilacs smell so sweet. They're so delicious. I love that. So I hope that was in some way helpful. And I look forward to exploring more about the Saturn retrograde. And I hope you appreciate all these energies with the full moon. It is rather intense. And so I think we need to just really take stock of what are our core values and who and what in our lives align with that, and uphold what is in line and let go of the rest. So I'll see you guys next week. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I would love to hear how this may be affecting you in your own world. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye. Wow.